Hey everyone, my name is Jose, aka Joe Engineer, and today I'm going to show you how to very quickly, very easily, and very inexpensively add a fuse to the circuit that controls the backlighting for your instrument panel gauges, which comes from the factory without a fuse. And while you're in there, how to inspect the wiring behind your dash mounted light switch and correct any problems while you're in there so that you can fix any lighting issues that you may have in your instrument panel and hopefully catch any issues before they get worse. So let's get to it. Thank you once again for joining me. And this video is a request from one of my followers. So I'd be happy to help you how to complete this repair. And if anyone has any other requests on repairs or DIYs that they would like to see, feel free to shoot me a note, leave it in the comments, or shoot me an email, and I'll do my best to fulfill those requests as best as I can. So the circuit that controls the lighting on your the backlighting on your gauges comes from the factory without a fuse. I don't know why, but that's the way it comes from the factory, and it gets its power source from the dash switch that controls your exterior and interior lights. That dash switch has a constant 12 volt power source from the battery. One of the things that could happen if you leave the circuit unfused is that if you ever have a short on your gauge wiring or any of the backlighting for the HVAC or any of the backlighting in the dash, is that you will end up frying some of the wiring back there. It might cause a fire, or it could also potentially damage the dash switch itself, which is as of 2024 over $500 to get a new one from Porsche. So in order to prevent this, there's a very easy way to pull the dash switch and add an inline fuse into the existing connectors, so that in case there's ever a short on any of the gauge lighting wiring circuits, you blow that fuse and you spare any damage to the dash switch itself. And also, while you're in there, you can take a look at the dash switch, pull it out, look at any connections that are corroded or have been tampered with, clean those up, fix them, and that should hopefully improve the quality of your lighting behind the dash. It might make some lights turn on that have been dead for some time, and it also gives you a chance to go in there and fix any problems that potentially have been created by someone who has previously installed, say, an aftermarket alarm or an aftermarket stereo, as the light switch is a very convenient source to get 12 volt power from. But you know the way it goes. A lot of times those wiring jobs are not the best and cause more problems than they solve. So this should take just a few minutes and only a few dollars, and I hope that this helps you do it on your own car as well. So let's get going. Before I forget, this repair applies for all cars within the G-Body generation, 1989, and all 911s earlier through the beginning. I believe there have been some very slight variations in the dash switch connections as the years progress, but in general, it's the same type of repair, and you can follow the wiring diagram for your particular car in order to get the specifics for your dash switch. Okay, first thing you want to do before messing around with any of the wiring in the car is get yourself a set of the factory wiring diagrams. The reason I say this, even though this repair is very, very simple, is that once you pull the dash light switch and get underneath the dash and take a look at the wiring, you might find some surprises that you're going to have to fix before you can put things back together and drive the car again. So you need to have a copy of the factory wiring diagram so that you can see what is the way things are supposed to be connected down there. And in case you have any surprises, you can deal with them. You can get away with a Bentley manual, and I have a copy of the Bentley manual for my year. However, I also have a copy of the factory style diagrams for my particular year as well. I personally prefer these because they have, I've gotten used to the way the information is laid out on this style of diagram, and they're just easier for me, but personal preference. If you want to know how to read these style of wiring diagrams on the factory service manual, Google around for how to read Volkswagen current flow diagrams, and maybe you'll run into some documentation that shows you, that breaks down how they lay out the information, and you'll learn how to read them. However, a Bentley manual will also work. The factory diagrams are all in here. However, I did want to pull up the Bentley manual because it has the positions of all the fuses and what every fuse controls. For example, this for my 1983 car, if I go down all of these fuses and their components, I will not find the gauge lighting listed. The closest match to that is fuse 18, the interior lights, clock, glove compartment light, and luggage compartment light. However, these interior lights are the dome lights, not the gauge lighting. And the clock needs to be powered because it has to run when the car is off, obviously, but instrument panel lighting is not in here. So double check that. And now we can go to the factory wiring diagrams. And on my particular year, 1983, this 82 circuit applies to the 83 one as well. Section 2, or part 2, has the light switch, the dash light switch right here. And if you look at all the connections, you'll notice that the light switch is connected to all the exterior lighting, the headlights, side markers, parking light, license plate light, as well as their corresponding fuses that control each of those. Also on the light switch is terminal 58A, which goes to the hazard flasher. It goes to the fresh air control assembly light, which is the backlights on the back of your HVAC that tell you, the little heater sliders. Those are the backlights for this. And additionally, this third connector here, which is black wiring with a blue stripe, goes to another page, section 5, column 19. So let's go to section 5, column 19. Section 5, column 19. If you go up, here's section 2, column 16. This is where the previous page we were looking at continues on this circuit. So this goes down. If you follow this black wire with a blue stripe, you go down and it branches out to all of the tachometer, oil pressure indicator light, oil temperature, fuel indicator, speedometer. So it goes to all your gauges. So that's all controlled by terminal 58 on the light switch itself here. Now, also on the light switch is also connected on the back here to terminal 75. Terminal 75 goes to I believe it goes to the key ignition, and terminal 30 goes to, in Porsche land, terminal 30 is on the starter solenoid, input from the battery, ignition, starter switch, light switch, dimmer relay, and twin horn relay. So terminal 30 is always hot. That's where we get the power from for the light switch. But again, no fuse specifically for the lighting. There are fuses for the exterior lighting, which are the other connections here. So our goal is to take a tiny blade fuse with spade connectors and connect it in between terminal 58 and this branch of wires on the light switch itself. So we're going to go pull the light switch on the dash and see if we can find where the fuse should go. Over here on the car, after you've disconnected your negative terminal on the battery, go ahead and twist this light switch knob to the left to release it, and it should start to unscrew from the threaded shaft on the switch itself. If nothing happens and all it does is spin around, then what is happening is that the rubber body of the knob has separated from the aluminum threaded inner portion that is attached to the switch shaft. So it's going to keep spinning forever, and there's going to be no way for you to loosen it unless you grab a tiny flathead screwdriver and pop off this little cap. So shove a tiny screwdriver in here. You can pop off this cover. As soon as you pop off the cover, you'll see the aluminum shaft threaded, the aluminum threaded inner nut, I guess you can call it. And then you can grab it with some needle nose pliers, twist it to the left, and unscrew it from the knob. Fortunately, I've already been through this, so I can just take it off. There you go. And after you've gone through the trouble of disassembling this whole thing, if your inner metal portion has separated from the outer rubber knob, you can glue them back together using some kind of a two-part epoxy or a urethane. Then once they're bonded together, then you can pop the little icon back into the front. Then you'll see here's the shaft, and you want to go ahead and grab, there's this plastic retainer nut that is holding the switch onto the back of the dash. So what you want to do is grab some snap ring pliers, put them into the holes, and now you can unscrew the plastic retaining nut. Make absolutely sure that your battery is disconnected at this point, because remember, the switch has connections that are always live, and you don't want to bump the switch connections against something metal that shouldn't happen, and then you've got sparks and other good stuff happening. Also, you're going to feel the weight of the switch. There you go. There's the nut, And now you can take the switch. You can pull it from the back. There's a huge, you'll feel it back here. There's a big washer that you want to make sure you don't lose. And there you go. Put these little guys off to the side. And now, here is your dash switch in all its glory. Now that your dash switch is freed up, look for terminal 58A. I don't know if you can see it from this view, but right there where my thumb is pointing at, you can see all of the terminals are labeled. And this one right here by my thumb is 58A, which is the one where we want to place this one. Remember, this one is supposed to have 3 black wires with blue stripe per the wiring diagram. And we want to put a fuse in between the switch and the wires. So I've already done that here previously, but you can see here's my 58A terminal, and here is a fuse holder, a blade fuse holder with a female spade connector going to the switch. And I put I guess this would have been a male one going out to the 3 wires. And the 3 wires that were on the switch, I think one was had 2 wires connected to the spade, and it had like a piggyback spade so that you could connect 2 spades to the same, 2 female spades to the same 1 male spade. So that's what's going on here. That's why you have 3 wires, 3 black with blue wires going into this connection. Then I put shrink wrap over the entire thing because we don't want any of these connections to short with each other. And I believe on this fuse holder, a simple tiny 2 amp fuse is sufficient for this circuit. I don't know if you can see it in this. There we go, 2 amps. And that's enough for the lighting, interior lighting circuit. These are all, I think they're all like 2-watt bulbs, is what's called out in the manual. Now, in order to test this, you can leave these wires disconnected on the switch, reconnect your battery, and pull the switch on, and you should see all your interior lights should not work. So we've already done that here. It's just a quick demonstration of where everything is located. While you're in here, this is very, very important. Clean up as much of the wiring as you can while you're in here. Because this is the nearest source for 12 volts, a constant 12 volts under the dash. You know, if your car has ever had an aftermarket alarm system or a aftermarket stereo, more than likely they tapped into one of these connections in here. So you'll see all sorts of sketchy wiring. I had to make a repair here. I believe this was stripped, and then there was a radio wire connected to here. So take a look at all your connections, repair any broken exposed wires. Also repair any broken insulation on these terminals. You can cut off the old insulation and put a new piece of shrink tubing and heat it so that it's nice and snug over the terminal. You'll see a lot of these wires have very discolored insulation on them because they've gotten very, very warm at some point, hopefully not to the point of burning. And then sometimes you'll see either sections or this complete rheostat is completely burnt to a crisp, depending on how many circuits were being connected into this piece here. So this is part number 911-613-02901. Last I checked, these are over $500 to replace. So yeah, kind of expensive. If yours is burnt to a crisp, you really don't have a choice but to replace it. But if yours is still in great condition, before replacing it, you can always pull these connections off, get a piece of Scotch-Brite or emery paper and clean up the terminals. Use some contact cleaner so that to spray on here and get rid of any corrosion. Reconnect everything, and you should have much more robust connections. And with the addition of the fuse, you should now be protected in case there's a short in any of your gauge wiring. That's about it. When you're done with all putting this fuse in line on terminal 58A, you can go ahead and kind of zip tie it in place or secure it however you want to. Push this little guy back. Actually, make sure you put the big washer back on here. Push it back onto the dash through the hole. Put on the plastic nut, secure it down in place. Just snug it. Don't crank on it too hard because it is a plastic nut. Snug it down, and then you can put the knob back on and you're good to go. And your dash wiring should be in much better shape from here on out. So that's about it. Super easy repair. If this has helped you out in any way, please give it a like. Please subscribe. Please share. Please support the channel in any way using any of the links in my description or through my website. And remember, if you have any future repair topics that you would like to see, please leave them in the comments or shoot me a note or get in contact with me, and I'll do what I can to make those videos happen. Take care. See you in the next one.